Hello everybody, not feeling well. Have allergies kicking in real strong. Usually have bad allergies. They started late this year. Season's so messed up. I mean, like we had a late winter, happened like right at the end of March. And now all of a sudden it's been like 90 degrees. As summer kicked in. I don't know, everything's all screwed up. I'll attribute that to 2012. Couple things I really wanted to let you all know about. There's a Forbes article, the best reason in the world to buy gold. Apparently on June 28th, the world will revert back to gold as a reserve currency. In a sense, not officially, but China buying oil from Iran in gold is a huge, monumental, historic event that if I was to go over here to the mall and just tell someone, hey, China's going to be buying gold from Iran, oil from Iran and gold, they'd be just like, so? Who cares? So what? That means nothing to most people, but one more nail in the coffin of the dollar being the world reserve currency. This is just such historic and just huge news for those of us who know what's going on. Beijing's planning to avoid the U.S. financial sanctions on Iran by paying for oil with gold. China's imports of the metal are already large, and you could guess what additional purchases are going to do to the prices. So that article will be on Moneybags World, that Forbes article. The implications of China paying for Iranian oil and gold is the most important event in modern history of gold. I think I picked that up off of James Sinclair's website. Just incredible. If you haven't seen my timeline of the US dollar, you could tack this on the end of it. This goes right along with, laying out the whole thing where gold lost its actual value when they took away, where the dollar lost its actual value when they took away gold and silver from us. Now copper. That's another thing I was going to do. I haven't done that video yet. They want to make steel pennies and steel nickels. There was some common sense coming out of Congressman Ron Paul in regards to that, and I'll have to try and do that video, but he's saying basically it's just a joke. But anyway, we can't even make the change out of any type of metal of any value. Steel has a little bit of value, but so the other thing, we have Missouri becoming the second state to legalize gold and silver as legal tender, which was already done in the Constitution 300 years ago. Just somehow got around that. But that's the tricky thing, because if they start having gold debit cards, you're going to be taxed 28% when you use the card, because the Fed says that it's not legal tender. So there's going to be that fight between the states. Sort of like it's actually sort of like a protest. So I'm glad to see Missouri following in the steps of Utah. So they both have gold and silver as legal tender now, and we're waiting to hear on South Carolina on that. One last thing I want to talk about: 12 countries increased their gold reserves in March. So lots of physical buying by the central banks with everything else that's happening. And, maybe Warren Buffett will be surprised by this. Gold, the useless metal. Lots of buying by central banks around the world. He's probably scratching his head on this. And people like Dave Ramsey, who says, gold's a horrible investment. You could use dirt as a currency. Guys like him, I guess they're really scratching their heads when they see a title like this. 12 countries increased their gold reserves. We got Mexico, 16.81 tons purchased last month, adding to their almost 100 tons they bought last year around May. So they're at 122 tons now. Russia adds 16.55 tons, giving them 895 tons. They've bought a lot of gold the last 3-4 years. Turkey buys 11 tons of gold last year. They're up to 209 tons now. Argentina bought 7 tons. They're at 61.74 tons now. Kazakhstan, 4.3 tons, moving them close to 100 tons of gold now. Ukraine bought over a ton. They're at 29 tons now. So there's your central bank gold buying update. China hasn't said what they're at in over 3 years. They last said they were a little over 1,000 tons. I wouldn't be surprised if that's 2,000 or 3,000 tons now. The U.S. has over 8,000 tons, supposed to be the largest gold hoard in the world. We don't know. That hasn't been audited in over 50 years. We don't know what's really in Fort Knox. The bottom line here is that if buying a lot of gold is good for central banks and they're the money printers, they know what's going on. It's common sense to me that we should be purchasing gold and silver as well. That's just one little part of what I bring to you, is to help support what we're doing. The other main portion of this channel is about the falling dollar, and China buying oil and gold is a huge nail in that coffin of the US dollar. I don't know, folks. Things are just cranking along, and the average Joe is just like, oh, we're in recovery mode, and everything's getting better, and the dollar's going to come back, and this and that. Everything's going to be fine. That's just so far from what's really happening, but that's what they want you to believe. So anyway, I hope this was worth the effort. Talk to you all soon.